the E-class up and live. Okay, so paid him, finished it off, and that's done and dusted. So yeah, I was just saying, 4 to 6 hours. Who else finds that they take between maybe 2 and 6 hours to do an E-class? A good solid one. Yep? Okay, all right. So can contrast that to 15 to 30 minutes. And if you're looking at an E-class that, if you're looking at a membership site that goes on indefinitely, forever, and you're giving up 4 to 6 hours a week, is that very attractive? It's not for me, sorry. As much as I love the topic, I'd rather be playing tennis or something like that. So let's move on really quick. How much did I pay for it? Okay, I paid $100 for that one, US, because I actually got the writer to go from scratch to finish based on that recording. But I did get bids from saying 15 to 25,000 or something. Those were the bid ranges. Okay. All right. So I've actually got one of my. I wanted to print this out for everyone, but it's like 30 pages. Okay. So I thought, no, I better save on paper. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this at the front or up the back. What this is the project description that I've posted. It's also the description of it's also the first E-class that he came out with. It's also the feedback that I gave him and the final version of the E-class. So it's all in here. I don't believe this will be posted online, but come and have a squiz at this to see the interaction that I've given to him.
Why not?
Okay, sure. Let's just check it online. All right, here's a really quick, and I've probably got 2 minutes to go. So this is from guru.com. Okay, and what you'll see is the rating, the ranking, the feedback, how much they've earned. You also see their profile. Let me use this. Okay, their profile, and they usually write you a little personal message. Okay, this is where I like to gauge how good their English is, how much they're going to charge, how prompt they're going to be, this sort of stuff. So there's a lot of information there. This bidder, I believe, was one of the ones that I really liked. Okay, so I've shortlisted her, and we're still in. I could, but we're running out of time. So this will be online. You'll have access to it. Okay. So in summary, and Brett McFall says this. You've been in one of his seminars. Be the general of the army, not the soldier in the trenches. Okay. So you want to be at the top, really directing everyone, rather than getting in there and getting your hands dirty. So I'm not saying, as I said before, not to discard everything that Darryl said. I want you to take it all on board and use it to direct people. It's just the same as those people who came to the copywriting seminar with Pete Godfrey, okay? I don't want to do copy on my own because there's no way in the world that I will be able to write, someone who's been in the industry for 10, 15 years, writes copy, lives and breathes it. I spend 2 days, there's no way in the world I could come up anywhere near good copy as him, and I'd be more than happy to pay him or some other copywriter to do what he does best, so I can do what I do best, okay, which is marketing and traffic and driving the vision. One other really quick thing before we wrap up is how do you know when to outsource? And I thought this was useful when I heard it, so I'm just going to share it with you. As a start, you can take what you earn now. Okay, so let's say it's $40,000 a year. Then you divide that by 52 weeks, and you get to a figure. Then you divide that by 5 days in a week, 5 working days, okay, and you get to a figure. Then you divide that by 8 work hours in a day, and you'll get to a figure. Now, this figure here will be your dollar value. Okay, and if you can outsource a task for less than that dollar value, if you do that task, you're losing money. Does that make sense? So that is a conceptual but an interesting way to look at things. Now, Michael Same actually says this figure should be the figure that you want to earn. So there should probably be a couple more zeros on there, all right, per year. So go through that same process and come up with that number. And if you can get it outsourced for less than that, by doing it, you're losing money, according to Mike. All right? So I hope that's been useful for you. I know I've brushed through. I would have loved to have spent an hour talking about it. But I'm going to open it up for 4 minutes, 3 minutes of questions. Do we have time for questions?
There's an easy way to do that calculation, Wes, because it pretty much works out to you dividing by 2,000. So if you take how many thousands you earn in a year and halve it, that's the hourly rate.
Okay, fantastic.
So, do you want me to say it again? Okay. Basically, those numbers that you're dividing by pretty much multiply out to close to 2,000. So if you take the number of thousands of dollars that you earn in a year and divide it by 2, halve it, then that will give you roughly the hourly rate that you're making.
Cool.
So when you're outsourcing your e-classes, do you always go with that format of interview someone, or you just download into a mic or something like that?
No, not always. Not always. A lot of the some writers will actually want to come up with it from scratch. Okay. Some writers, if you point them in the right direction, you say, I want you to use these resources that I have. You can email them, say, some ebooks you purchased, but obviously just to use to help you. Or you can point them to some resources online that are free that they can use to construct. Obviously, it needs to be original work, though. You need to make it clear that you're not stealing, copying, plagiarising from anything.
Right, and how do you keep consistency of, like, a through line in your classes then? Does that make sense? How do you...
Well, I use pretty much what Daryl's outlined this morning in putting together a sort of a structure and continuity, and then you can outsource based on that. But you know what it looks like, the picture looks like.
Yeah. Okay, so you put this is what I want in this e-class.
That's correct.
Here's where you can go and find the information.
That's correct.
Can you make it? Got
Correct.
it, thanks.
One more question,
Thanks.
or last question?
We were just talking before with Daryl about the style of writing, and talking with you and verbs and this kind of thing. Now, if you're going to outsource the writer might be writing in a style of scientific or factual. Not so. It's sort of the opposite of what Daryl was saying.
Yeah. Well, you just need to be clear. You need to be clear in your correspondence in the bidding, in your project outline, in your correspondence with them. Get them to do a draft, and then pick it to pieces once or twice. Give them access to the material that you've learned, or your own notes, and say, read this. I need you. All this. I mean, if someone really wants to work with you, they'll go the distance. They'll do whatever you tell them to do. Trust me. If they know they're going to get 12 months worth of e-classes, they will write exactly to your specifications. Remember, you don't pay them a single cent until they deliver exactly what you're after. Exactly what you're after.
From my point of view, using this outsourcing, it's all in how clear you are with the specifications when you first start. You are very clear on that, and then there's no argument at the end of it. And for that particular question, what I would have done is send them a couple of e-classes in our style.
Sample.
This is a sample of what we do. Here's the book that Daryl's giving you on. If you're really keen, get access to the video, what she's just taught. So sit down, watch that, do it exactly like that.
Yep.
No different.
They'll do it.
Okay, guys, that's the last